Okay, so let's start in a seated position today. Just something that's comfortable. You might like to put a block there just to lift your hips up a bit. Thank you all for joining me today. Let's settle into our yoga space. Hopefully you're all been okay with all this rain and no leaks or anything. So coming into yoga space and softening your eyes. And paying attention to your breath. Just notice how your chest rises as you inhale and how it falls as you exhale. Have your hands in a nice relaxed position. You might have them on your knees or in your lap, whatever feels right for you. Let's take a few moments to come into the room, check in with ourselves and leave the busyness of our morning behind us. Notice the earth underneath your feet and underneath your buttocks, supporting you today in your yoga practice. Check in with your body. Notice how your body feels. If any particular part of your body pops up, try to exhale into that area to release it. Releasing any tension. Any thoughts that you come into your mind, acknowledge them and let them go. Let's take a deep breath in and a big deep breath out. Letting go of all that you don't need. Let's take 2 more breaths like that. I've got a Rumi quote to start off our practice today. You have no idea how hard I've looked for a gift to bring you all. Nothing seemed right. What's the point of bringing gold to a gold mine, wine or water to the ocean? Everything I came up with was like taking spice to the Orient. It's no good giving my heart and my soul to you because you already have one. So I brought you a mirror. Look at yourself and remember me. So let's start our practice with some shoulder rolls. So as we go through our practice today, let's think about inner stillness, coming within, coming to your space. This time is for you, for yourself. And then taking your arms a little wider. Loosening any tension that we may have in our shoulders. Taking some nice deep breaths. And bringing our fingertips to our shoulders and circling our elbows. Imagine you're drawing a circle with the end of your elbow. Try to make it a nice big circle. And then take it back the other way. And then bring your hands back to your knees, taking your right hand behind you and your left hand to your right knee, looking over your right shoulder. Taking a couple of breaths here. Each time you exhale, twist a little more. 2 more breaths. And then to the other side. Looking over your left shoulder this time with your left hand behind and your right hand on your left knee. Twisting a little more on each exhalation. And then coming back to the front. And then stretch out our sides, putting our right hand on the mat, our left hand over the top. And then inhale to the center and exhale to the other side. Just going nice and slow with your breath. And one more each side. And then bring your hands back to center. We're going to take our gaze from side to side, just taking any tension out of our neck. One more each side. And then bringing your gaze to the front. And we'll bring our chin to our chest, stretching the muscles in the back of our neck. And inhale, lift your gaze up to the ceiling. And continue on a couple more rounds at your own pace. Just loosening off any tension in your neck. And then let's come to tabletop. And taking our knees nice and wide and bringing our buttocks down to our heels, chest up tall, and walking our hands forward into child's pose. Opening up your hands and your fingers, bringing your forehead down towards the mat. And let's take some nice deep breaths here. Each time you breathe out, allowing your forehead to drop a little closer to the mat. Connecting with a stretch through your lower back and through your hips and shoulders. Let's take 4 more breaths. And once you've taken your last breath, just come back up to tabletop, having your hands with your fingers spread wide and your palms pushed down towards the mat, your knees underneath your hips. And we'll just do a couple of circles, warming up through our hips and through our wrists. And then take it the other way. And then coming back to center, we're going to do some cat-cows. Inhaling, lifting your chest, lifting your gaze. And exhale, bring your spine up towards the ceiling, looking through your knees towards your feet or towards your dog if you're me. And continue on. Let's keep going. Moving with your breath. Inhaling as you lift your chest and raise your gaze. And exhaling as you lower your gaze through your knees, lifting your spine up towards the ceiling. Opening up all the little spaces in between your vertebrae, getting a little bit more warmth into your spine. Then exhaling back to child's pose. And we're going to inhale, take our hands slightly forward and come forward into upward dog. So feeling the stretch through the front of the hips and the lower back, and exhaling back to child. So we're going to do 4 more rounds of this at your own breath. Just warming up our spine and our hips and our lower back. A little bit of warmth through the shoulders and wrists as well. And when you've done your 4, coming back to tabletop. And we're going to do thread the needle, so opening up our shoulders and our upper back a little more. We'll start with the left hand moving slightly towards the center. And we're going to inhale, lift our right hand up and take our gaze with it. So we lift it all the way up towards the ceiling, gazing. And then exhale, we're going to thread it underneath the left arm and hover. And then inhale back up. Notice a twist in the upper back and an opening through the chest. And exhale, bring the hand back through underneath the left and hover. Inhale back up. And this time as we exhale, we're going to take our shoulder and our ear down towards the mat and take our left hand forward. Bring that opening through the right scapula. And then back to tabletop. Welcome, Caroline. And then we'll go to the other side. Bring our right hand slightly to the middle. Inhale, lift the left hand up. Take our eyes with it, opening up through the chest and twisting through the upper back. Exhale, bring the left hand under the right and hover. Inhale back up. Gazing at your hand all the way through. And on this third one, we're going to lift all the way up and then bring the hand under, bring the shoulder and the ear down towards the mat and take the right hand forward. Taking 4 deep breaths here, connecting to the stretch through the left scapula. And we've done your 4 breaths. Coming back to tabletop. And we're going to tuck our toes under and lift our hips up towards the ceiling for our first downward dog. And we're just going to take some nice breaths here, pushing our heels down towards the mat, stretching through the back of our legs, feeling a stretch through the shoulders. You might like to move around a little bit, just noticing that stretch. Just taking a few more breaths here. And then bringing your body into high plank and slowly lowering down to the mat. Having the 4 hands in front of you, the tops of your feet on the mat. And we're going to inhale, lift up into Sphinx pose. So bring our shoulders back and down, squeezing through our buttocks. And exhale, bring your forehead down to the mat. And then inhale, lift up again. We'll do 4 rounds. Moving with your breath. Inhale as you lift your chest, lift your gaze, shoulders back and down, squeezing through the butt. And exhale, relax. 2 more rounds. And then coming back up to high plank. And then pushing your hips up to downward dog. Let's move your hips from side to side, pushing your heels down towards the mat, stretching the back of your legs and through the glutes and through the calves. And then bring your knees down to the mat, hands a little forward. We're going to inhale into upward dog and exhale to downward dog. I'll do 4 rounds with your breath. Inhale as you come down, knees towards the mat. Inhale as you lift your chest. And exhale back to upward dog. Moving at your own pace. One more round. And then coming back into child's pose again, so knees nice and wide, your buttocks down to your heels, and taking some nice breaths here. Just evening out your breath and coming back to our theme of our practice, so coming back to this inner stillness. Let's take 2 more breaths here in child's pose. And then come up to tabletop, tuck your toes under, into downward dog. And then walk your feet forward towards your hands, into a forward bend. And let your body hang there, let your head fall heavy and your chest fall heavy. Stretching out the back of your legs. You might like to fold your arms here. Just take 4 deep breaths. And on the next inhalation, coming up, bending your knees slightly. Bring your hands all the way up to the ceiling. And then back down to Anjali Mudra. Let's take a couple of breaths here. And coming back towards the back of your mat. We're going to do our warrior sequence. So we're going to take our left toes slightly out to the side of the mat and step forward with the right. As we inhale, we're going to go into warrior 1. We're going to bend our right knee, bring our arms up above our head, taking our hips forward. So we've got a nice bend through the knees over the ankle. Imagine you're lifting up a beach ball. So stretching through the front of the body and noticing the stretch through the left hip. Just taking some nice deep breaths here. 2 more breaths. And then bringing both hands down towards the mat, to frame your right foot. And then bring your right hand just inside your right foot. And pick the left hand up and bring it up towards the sky and take your gaze with it. Straightening out the right leg. So notice this deep stretch through the back of the right leg, but also a stretch through the front of the chest. Looking up towards your left hand. 2 more breaths. And release the left hand down to the mat. Let's take both hands behind our back, clasp them. And then we're going to lift the hands off the back and lift our chest a little into humble warrior. Take 2 more breaths here. And then release the hands. Inhale, lift the hands all the way back up to Anjali Mudra. And then step our feet back together. And we'll take it to the other side. So this time at the back of the mat, turning your right toes out towards the side of the mat. And step forward with the left foot. Just checking your alignment that your left heel is roughly in line with your right arch. Then we're going to inhale, lift our arms, lift our chest and our gaze, bend the left leg, lift our beach ball up nice and high, stretching the front of our body, checking into the stretch through the right hip. 2 more breaths. And then bringing our hands forward, bring the left hand next to the inside of the left foot. And we're going to take our right hand to the sky and we're going to straighten out our left leg into triangle pose, looking up towards the right hand. Take some nice deep breaths. Hold the left leg nice and strong. 2 more breaths here. And then bring your right hand down to the mat and both hands behind your back, clasping the hands, and then lifting the hands up off your back and lift your chest a little into humble warrior. Two more breaths here. And then release your hands, slightly bend the left leg and bring your hands back up to Anjali Mudra and bring your legs together. Give them a little shake. And we'll go into our balancing pose. So find yourself a drishti point, a point at which you stare at to help you with your balance, and open up the right toes. Start to move your hips around in a little circle so you connect with the 3 anchor points underneath your right foot. Bring your left foot next to your right ankle, toes on the ground. You can leave your foot here or you can take it up next to your calf or above your knee, whichever works for you. So bringing that left foot up into position wherever it is that you decide to place it today, and bring your hands to Anjali Mudra. Nice and still, coming back to our theme of inner stillness, looking at your drishti point and taking some nice deep breaths. Two more breaths here. And then release the left leg. Give both legs a little shake. And then we'll go to the other side. So find your drishti point first, and then moving your hips in a little circular direction to connect with the 3 anchor points behind your big toe, behind your little toe and your heel. And then bring the right foot next to the left leg so the toes are on the ground. And then bring your right foot up to where you're going to place it. So it could be on the calf or above the knee, or you can leave the toes on the ground. And then bring your hands to Anjali Mudra, coming back to the calmness, looking at your drishti point. Taking some nice deep breaths. 2 more breaths. And then release the right foot. Give them a little shake, give your legs a little shake. And we're going to do some sun salute rounds. We'll do 4 rounds. So you can have a rest at any point, rest into child's pose or into Savasana. So we'll start towards the top of our mat, having our feet about hip width apart. Nice tall aligned body. So you can come with me or you can go at your own pace, whichever you wish. So inhale, lift our arms up, raise our gaze, stretching up towards the ceiling in mountain pose. Exhale, folding forward, bringing the fingertips down to the mat. Inhale, lift the chest, lengthen the spine, and exhale, step back into high plank. Or you can have your knees on the ground into low plank, and then slowly lower your body to the mat. have the tops of your feet on the mat, and inhale, lift up through the chest into upward dog, and then roll over your toes into downward dog, lifting the hips up to the ceiling. Take your gaze forward and then step forward into forward bend. Inhale, lift the chest, lengthen the spine. Exhale, draw your chest into your knees. Inhale, come up to standing. Hands back to Anjali Mudra. Let's take a couple of breaths here to steady the breath down. Coming back to that inner stillness. And coming towards the top of the mat again. And number 2, inhale, lift your hands up to the ceiling into mountain pose, stretching up towards the ceiling. Exhale, fold forward. Bring your fingertips down to the mat. Inhale, lift the chest, lengthen the spine. Feel the stretch through the back of the legs. And exhale, step back into high plank. And then slowly lower your body to the mat. And tops of your feet on the mat. Inhale, lift up into upward dog. And exhale, roll over your toes and bring your hips up into downward dog. Inhale, take your gaze forward and step forward into forward bend. Inhale, lift up through the chest. Exhale, draw the chest to the knees. And inhale, come all the way back up to mountain pose and Anjali Mudra. Got 2 more rounds to go. Feeling your body warming up now a little. Feeling if you need to rest, you can rest. Okay, let's go for our last 2. Inhale, lift our hands, lift our gaze, reach up to the ceiling. Exhale, folding forward. Fingertips to the mat. Inhale, lift the chest and lengthen our spine. Exhale, step back into high plank. And exhale, slowly lower your body to the mat. Take your tops of your feet onto the mat. Inhale, lift up into upward dog. And exhale, tuck your toes under into downward dog. Take your gaze forward and step forward into forward bend. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, draw your chest to your knees. And then inhale, come back up to standing. Slight bend in your knees and hands back to Anjali Mudra. So we've got 1 more round to go. You can rest if you wish. Just going at your own pace this time. I'll let you go at your own pace and call your own. And coming back to standing with your hands at Anjali Mudra. We're going to take our feet wide, so lengthways on the mat, as wide as you can. We're going to inhale, lift our arms up, lift our gaze in our chest, and exhale, we're going to fold forward, bring our hands down to the mat, and take our feet a little wider, heel toe, and let your crown of your head drop down towards the mat. Your palms nice and flat on the ground. And we're going to stay here, just enjoying the inversion, feeling the edge of your feet, the outside edge of your feet, taking some of the weight here. Just taking some nice deep breaths, steadying the body, enjoying the stretch down the back of the leg.
letting the crown of your head point down towards the floor, and on each exhale you might find that it allows you to get a little further forward. Two more breaths here. And then inhale, lift your chest, stretch your spine, and then heel toe your feet a little closer together. Bend your knees a little bit and come back up to standing, hands back to Anjali Mudra. Bring your feet a little closer together. And we're going to go into a goddess squat. So we've got our feet a little wider than our hips, our toes pointing out. We're going to bring our hands to cactus, and we're going to come into a squat, but keep your chest up nice and tall. So try not to let your chest fall forward. Bring your elbows back so you're squeezing your shoulder blades together. And it's taking nice deep breaths here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. So we're building strength in our legs and our shoulders. 3, 2, 1. And then bring your hands forward and straighten your legs. Point your toes forward, back into forward bend. Just resting here. Enjoying the nice stretch through the back and through the back of your legs. And then we're going to come down to the mat into a seated position with our knees bent and our feet on the ground, lowering our back down to the ground. And we're going to go into a reclining pigeon. So we lift up our left leg and bring that across the front of the right leg. And then we're going to pick up our right foot off the floor, and we're going to reach through either to pull our left shin towards us, or reach through your leg to your thigh or to the front of the right leg, and relaxing down your back of your neck and back of your head back down to the mat. And just deep breathing here. Just tuning into the stretch through the left glute and the left ITB. Just taking some nice deep breaths here. Surrendering into the deep stretch. This is really good to release any tension you might have in the glute area and the lower back. Just 2 more breaths here. And then release your hands and let your right foot drop down to the mat, but keep your left leg across. Take your arms out to the side, straight out from your shoulders, and drop your legs towards the right side and look towards the left. So you get a nice stretch through the left side of your body. And softening your eyes, coming back to that inner stillness. Taking some nice deep breaths here. On each breath, allow your body to twist a little more to that right side. Two more breaths here. And then inhale, bring your knees back to center and bring your eyes towards the ceiling. Uncross your legs and then bring the right foot across. And this time you'll either reaching up with your hands to your right shin or the left thigh or the left shin, depending on what feels right for you. And then relax your back and your neck and your head back to the ground, back to the earth. And enjoying this nice stretch through the right side this time. So right glute and ITB.
Just taking some deep breaths. And on each exhalation, allow your body to stretch into that position a little more. Two more breaths. And then release your hands and let the left foot go to the ground. Keep the right leg crossed. Take your arms out to the side, straight out from your shoulders, and allow both knees to fall across to the left side and look towards the right into a deep stretch on the right hand side. And just take some nice deep breaths here. And again, on each exhalation, allow your body to surrender a bit more into the stretch. Two more breaths here. And then inhale, bring both knees back to center. Put both feet on the ground and then reach up and hug both knees to your chest. Allow your body to roll in a circle or backwards and forwards, whatever feels right for you. And then coming back to center, reach your hands through the inside of your knees. Reach up towards your ankles or the feet, if you can hold the outside edge of your feet. And then your knees are out in a butterfly position. And we're going to lift our feet up towards the ceiling into happy baby pose. It's a great stretch for lower back. You might like to stay still or move around a little bit. Just taking some nice deep breaths, softening your eyes and coming back to that inner stillness. Let's take 4 more breaths here. And then release your hands. Allow your feet to come back to the floor. Place your hands, palms down next to you and slide your feet so that your heels come a little closer to your buttocks. And inhale, lift up through the hips and bring your hips up into a bridge pose. You can leave your hands here or you can take them underneath and clasp them together and then draw your shoulders a little closer together. Lift up a little higher, bring your chest up towards your chin. Take 4 deep breaths here. It's a nice stretch for the front of the legs and the front of the body, the glutes and the shoulders. Two more breaths. And then slowly lower your spine down to the mat. Hug the knees up to the chest. And from here, we're going to go into our legs up inversion. So you might like to go next to a wall or a bed or a chest of drawers, whatever you have in your room. Or you can use a shoulder stand. So inhaling, lifting your feet up. We're going to stay here for 10 breaths, giving your ankles a little circle, nice light feet. Nice inversion for your lymphatic system and for your circulatory system, allowing all the excess fluids to drain out from your feet and your legs back to the lymph nodes in your groin area. You might like to bring your feet, soles of your feet together, knees out to the side, to butterfly. You might like to take your feet out wide.
If you're in shoulder stand, you can take your feet over your head towards the floor behind your head into plow pose. Taking 4 more breaths. And the next inhalation, allow your back to slowly roll down to earth and come into Savasana. So you're laying on your back with your palms facing up. You might have your knees bent to support your lower back, or you might have your legs out flat. Softening your eyes. Letting the earth support you. Feeling the earth on your heels, the backs of your legs, your hips, your lower back, your upper back, shoulders, the back of your head, top of your arms, forearms, back of your arms, back of your hands. Coming back to the breath and coming back to the inner stillness. Relaxing here for another 4 or 5 minutes. Letting your beautiful yoga practice all congeal for you. Harnessing the beautiful energy that you've cultivated in your practice today.
Slowly coming back into the room, moving your fingers and toes and stretching your arms above your head, stretching out through your feet, feeling the floor supporting you, slowly rolling to one side and coming up to a comfortable seated position when you're ready. Thank you for your beautiful practice today, ladies. Let's bring our hands to our forehead for kind thoughts and to our lips for kind words and to our heart for a kind heart. Namaste.
Thanks, Jenny.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
I
Jenny.
was
That was very
suffering.
good.
I went
You're
to the
welcome.
gym. I went to the gym
Thanks,
on
Jen.
Saturday.
Excellent.
Good on you, Elsa.
Good on you. Back to the gym.